Adapted from archaic translation by H. T. Francis and R. A. Neal. Jataka number 413. Dhūmakāri-Jātaka. The Righteous King, etc. The master told this tale while living in Jetavana monastery, concerning the Kosala king's favor to a stranger. At one time, the story goes, that king showed no favor to his old warriors who came to him in the usual way, but gave honor and hospitality to strangers coming for the first time. He went to fight in a disturbed frontier province. But his old warriors would not fight, thinking that the new corners who were in favor would do so. And the new corners would not, thinking that the old warriors would. The rebels prevailed. The king, knowing that his defeat was owing to the mistake he had made in showing favor to newcomers, returned to Sravasti city. He resolved to ask the Lord of Wisdom whether he was the only king who had ever been defeated for that reason. So after the morning meal he went to Jetavana monastery and put the question to the master. The master answered, "Great king, yours is not the only case. Former kings also were defeated by reason of the favor they showed to new corners," and so, at the king's request, he told an old tale. Once upon a time in the city of Indraprastha, in the kingdom of the Kurush, a king was reigning named Dhananjaya, of the race of Yudhishthira. The bodhisattva was born in the house of his family priest. When he grew up, he learned all the arts at Taxila. He returned to Indraprastha, and at his father's death he became family priest to the king and his advisor in things worldly and spiritual. His name was called Vidurapandita. King Dhananjaya disregarded his old soldiers and showed favor to newcomers. He went to fight in a disturbed frontier province. But neither his old warriors nor the newcomers would fight, each thinking the other party would see to the matter. The king was defeated. On his return to Indraprastha he thought that his defeat was due to the favor he had shown to newcomers. One day he thought, "Am I the only king who has ever been defeated through favor shown to newcomers, or have others had the same fate before? I will ask Vidurapandita." So he put the question to Vidurapandita when he came to the king's levee. The master, stating the reason of his question, spoke half a stanza. The righteous king Yudhishthira once asked Vidura wise, "Brahman, do know in whose lone heart much bitter sorrow lies?" Hearing him, the bodhisattva said, "Great king, your sorrow is but a small sorrow." Of old, a Brahmin goatherd, named Dhūmakāri, took a great flock of goats, and making a pen in the forest kept them there. He had a smoking fire and lived on milk and the like, tending his goats. Seeing some deer of golden color who had come, he felt a love for them, and disregarding his goats he paid the honor due to them to the deer. In the autumn the deer moved away to the Himalaya. His goats were dead and the deer gone from his sight. So for sorrow he took jaundice and died. He paid honor to newcomers and perished, having sorrow and misery 1,000 times more than you. Bringing forward this instance, he said, "A Brahmin with a flock of goats, of high Vasita's race, kept smoking fire by night and day in forest living place. Smelling the smoke, a herd of deer, by gnats painfully pestered, come to find a living for the rains near Dhūmakāri's home. The deer have all attention now. His goats receive no care. They come and go untended all, and so they perish there. But now the gnats have left the wood, the autumn's clear of rain. The deer must seek the mountain heights and river springs again. The Brahmin sees the deer are gone and all his goats are dead. Jaundice attacks him worn with grief, and all his colors fled. So he who disregards his own, and calls a stranger dear, like Dhūmakāri, mourns alone with many a bitter tear." Such was the tale told by the great being to console the king. The king was comforted and pleased, and gave him much wealth. From that time onward he showed favor to his own people, and doing deeds of charity and virtue, he became destined for heaven. After the lesson, the master identified the birth. At that time the Kuru king was Ananda, Dhūmakāri was Pasenadi, king of Kosala, and Vidurapandita was myself. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by H. T. Francis and R. A. Neil. Jataka number. Jāgara-Jātaka 414. Who is it that wakes, etc. The master told this tale while living in Jetavana monastery, concerning a certain lay brother. He was a disciple who had entered on the first path. He set out by a forest road from Shravasti city with a caravan of carts. At a certain pleasant watered spot the leader of the caravan unyoked 500 carts, and arranging for food, both hard and soft, he took up his lodging there. The men lay down here and there to sleep. The lay brother practiced perambulation at the root of a tree near the leader of the caravan. 500 robbers planned to plunder the caravan. With various weapons in their hands they surrounded it and waited. Seeing the lay brother at his walk they stood waiting to begin plundering when he should go to sleep. He went on walking all night. At dawn the robbers threw away the sticks and stones and other weapons they had picked up. They went away, saying, "Master caravan leader, you are owner of your property because you have got your life owing to that man who keeps awake so diligently. You should pay honor to him." The caravan men rising early saw the stones and other things thrown away by the robbers and gave honor to the lay brother, recognizing that they owed their lives to him. The lay brother went to his destination and did his business. Then he returned to Shravasti city and went on to Jetavana monastery. There he saluted and did his act of homage to the Tathagata, and sat at his feet, and on his invitation to speak himself, he told the tale. The master said, "Lay brother, it is not you alone who have gained special merit by waking and watching, wise men of old did the same." And so at the lay brother's request, he told an old story. Once upon a time when Brahmadatta was reigning in Benares, the bodhisattva was born in a Brahmin family. When he grew up he learned all the arts at Taxila, and then returning lived as a householder. After a time he left his house and became an ascetic. Soon he reached the faculty of meditation, and living in the Himalaya quarter in the standing and walking attitudes only, he walked all night without sleeping. A spirit who lived in a tree at the end of his walk was pleased with him and spoke the first stanza, putting a question to him from a hole in the trunk. Who is it that wakes when others sleep and sleeps while others wake? Who is it can read my riddle, who to this will answer make? The bodhisattva, hearing the spirit's voice, spoke this stanza. I am he who wakes while others sleep, and sleeps while others wake. I am he can read your riddle, I to you can answer make. The spirit put a question again in this stanza. How is it you wake while others sleep, and sleep while others wake? How is it you read my riddle, how this answer do you make? He explained the point. Some men forget that virtue lies in strictly being sober. When such are sleeping I'm awake, O spirit of the tree. Passion and vice and ignorance in some have ceased to be. When such are waking then I sleep, O spirit of the tree. So it is I wake while others sleep, and sleep while others wake. So it is I read your riddle, so to you I answer make. When the great being gave this answer, the spirit was pleased and spoke the last stanza in his praise. Good it is you wake while others sleep, and sleep while others wake. Good your reading of my riddle, good the answer that you make. And so making the bodhisattva's praises, the spirit entered its dwelling in the tree. After the lesson, the master identified the birth. At that time, the tree spirit was Upalavana, the ascetic was myself.